thank you everybody for being here for another session, another inspiring session. And with me here is my friend Elsa Mendoza. Elsa is an author and she writes very grounding, inspiring books. Her books is like bringing a little piece of meditation into your life. It's like meditating in a book. That's how it is for me. I love reading your books. I've read all of them, and I will keep on reading whatever you write because you have this beautiful spirit around you. So, but it wasn't always like this. And so none of us just get to that place where we calm and zen and we can inspire other people. We all have stories, and our summit is called Trauma to Triumph. So I want you to tell your story. I want you to explain to people how you grew up and what was the stumbling blocks in your road, so that they can all understand it doesn't happen that easily.
That's true. Because every person in this world, I believe, goes through something. We all go through our different journeys and different paths that we chose or we choose. And mine was about growing up in a harsh environment, harsh in the sense that I had very strict parents, where the punishment or the way they discipline their children was very physical and verbal. Some would say it's an abuse, verbal abuse and physical abuse. But for me at that time, I was just looking at it as, oh, okay, so it became like a normal stuff for me. But I didn't know that, some parents wouldn't treat their children in such a way where I was treated. Okay, so probably some would be curious of what kind of treatment did I receive, did I get? So I got a tough love, in other words, tough in a sense that my father was very physical. What is being physical? So it's basically hurting the children. Hurting in what way? So it's, think about slapping, pulling your hair, or hitting you with stuff. What kind of stuff would be, let's say, flip-flops, the belt buckle or belt. You can think of whatever, just to release his anger, his frustration, his disappointments. And my mother was the same too, but she stopped in, let's say, my late teenage years. But my father continued on until my early 20s. I was already working. So I could remember the very first physical one was when I was 5 years old. My father was disappointed in looking for his stuff, and he thought that I kept all of them because he saw me playing. So I woke up being pulled. My hair was being pulled. There was pain in my head. I was curious. I was 5 years old, Louise. And then he was pulling my hair because he was frustrated looking for the screws. And my mother, I remember she hit me with a trash can when I was in college because of just disappointments. And I remember counting my bruises, here and there. And I would stay more at my friend's place because of this kind of treatment. I became closer to my friends. And what I did just to survive was to stay up late. I'll go home late. And then because I said to myself, you think of many ways just to survive that kind of situation. So I would go home late so that my parents would be tired. If there will be confrontation, if there will be time for them to get mad, there will be just a short period of time to do such physical beatings or verbal abuse stuff. And so I grew up being closer to my friends. I sleep. I wouldn't say sleep around. That's a different story. Sleep around. Sleeping at your friend's place because I was looking for a place where I could belong, a place where I could feel love. I was looking for gentleness. I was looking for care for sweetness because I couldn't get that in my family. But you know, I wasn't the only one who experienced this. Even my siblings experienced that as well. So because of such foundation, we became separated. But now my eldest sister and I are connecting once again. Um, my when we go back to my father before going to my sister, I the last time I was beaten up was when in my early 20s, where I had black eyes. You know, I would clock in at work, and my boss would see my eye with black eyes. You know, all those stuff. I was already in my early 20s, and then what I did just to get out of the situation is actually I left the country for work. I left the country for work. I said to myself that, oh, we just need distance. We need to breathe. So I didn't contact them for a month. I left the country. And then later on, I got a letter from my mother. And she said that she was missing me. And, you know, all those motherly, suddenly caring and all that stuff. Probably it's because of a month of no communication, not hearing from me. So probably they realized many things. The distance actually healed us. And I went back to our country, my country. And yeah, that's where the forgiveness started. My father kissed me on my forehead. I do remember that. And he was teary-eyed, was crying for what he did to me, etc. Yep, everything can be it, everything can be healed in when there's forgiveness, when you allow yourself to forgive, when you allow yourself to heal.
Okay, also, so when you were small, how did you feel
Mhm.
about yourself? Did you have a good self-esteem, or did you mostly look okay to the world?
You know, I grew up with, I don't know if it's a bully for my siblings. Oh, you're so ugly. She's the ugliest in the family. I have two sisters and a brother. She's the ugliest in the family, etc. Look at the way she walks. Look at the way she smiles. Look at her chin, etc. And I was like looking at the mirror. What's wrong with me? See the word what's wrong with me because of what I've been hearing from them. And whenever we'll have a reunion, they would actually tease me. Oh, she's the ugliest in the four children. She's the ugliest in the family. I don't know where she came from. All my sisters, my brothers were like that to me. But anyways, what was the effect of that? Um, I wouldn't say it's about being insecure, but what happened to me was this is what I found out, Luz. Whenever there are people or there's judgment or there's belittling, you know what I do? Instead of being insecure, I use that as my motivation to do the opposite. At a young age, I discovered that in me. Okay, whenever people would pass on judgment or maybe there will be whisperings, etc., I use those as my strength to do better.
So you
So
become a rebel. You become excellent.
but I don't know if the word is excellent. Maybe it is. So I use that to strengthen me. I use it to thrive more. I use those judgments to thrive more. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
like
I feel it
saying
a
to
lot.
myself, it's like saying to myself whenever I will hear that, oh, really? Huh? Okay, I'll prove it to you that I am not that. That's how I use those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Even up to this day.
the internal language is one of the two. I will show you what I can do, or it is you already don't believe anything about me. Let me show you how bad I can be. And that's usually
True.
one of the two directions that we go. I always say, um, I feel so lucky because I could have gone the other way. I've gone the perfectionist way. I could so easily have gone, it was like I had some protection over me. I could have gone the other way so easily, because a child who feels lost and lonely and unsupported inside their own homes, and I'm not saying that's how you felt, that needs a lot of input or a lot of adapted behaviors in order to survive.
Yeah,
Okay, so
true.
now that so you got out of school and you got away from your family, and then you got connected with them again. While you were growing up, did you feel that you were a happy child growing up? Did you have a happy childhood when you look back?
Um, I wouldn't say it's all happy because of the environment, the harsh environment. I think I was happier with the company of friends. I was happier when I was with my friends at that time. Yes, I was in my, I don't know, I could be myself whenever I'm with my friends, because at home it's like walking on eggshells.
Okay.
At home, all I wanted to do was just to sleep. That's all. So that I won't be able to witness the bickering. It's not that every day there's bickering at home. Don't get me wrong. It's not that my family they're bad people. It's just like I told you earlier. It was just about bad choices.
Yeah.
I realize now there were a lot of personal struggles. You know, um, my parents, for example, that's how they dealt with their personal struggles, their what do you call this, disappointments, their it's just a release for them.
Yeah.
But then the release is destructive
Yeah.
because the children are suffering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your parents were decent people who just didn't have
Yes.
those tools themselves, and so you were collateral damage. And so it's not about blaming them, but it's about looking back at the situation, so that first of all you can grow above your story and leave your story behind. But also the reason we're bringing it out is not to say these people were guilty. We're saying that stuff happens and you can only do as well as you know. And I think it is that bringing that awareness that we as a society can become much more aware of how we're doing so that we can do better.
And there is one more thing that I discovered, Louise. My father actually grew up being beaten up by his father as well. So the way I understood it, it's, or maybe my father thought it was normal thing to do. So he passed it on to his children, and we were I don't know, not the guinea pigs or whatever. And we were are we the receivers? Are we the benefactors of that kind? You wouldn't call it benefactors, but I don't know what's the right word for that. So yeah, he passed it on to us because of the belief that it's normal to hurt children, as a form of discipline, as to, to mold them and shape them. It's control too. It's about control as well. Yeah.
Also doing what you know. And you know what Maya Angelou says is you do better when you know better. And if this is what you do, you're going to keep on doing it. Okay, so now how did you get to a place where you can actually inspire other people? What was your turning point?
That's pain and suffering. There's a lot of things that can happen after pain and suffering. They are the trauma itself. They are learning experiences. They are teachers. There's actually where you will gain a lot of wisdom and lessons. It's an awakening. It's like living for the first time because of so much realization. You question everything and you don't want to experience what you have experienced before. So you want to change everything. You have a different perspective, and realizing that through pain and suffering, one has a choice. Pain is inevitable. It's just that how long you're going to suffer, and that everything is temporary. Everything It's just there for you to, you know, to have a lesson, to change, to grow, to evolve as a human being. So that's the realization from pain and suffering.
Was there a day when you decided that you've had enough? That
okay.
there needs to be a better way.
I had enough when I left, because when I left, before leaving the country, before leaving the family for good, my father had I had a black eye, before going to work, and I had a blood clot in my eye, hematoma. You call it hematoma.
Yeah.
And my boss at that time was, she was surprised to see me at that age, being still beaten up by a father, right? So, and then I looked for another job, which is outside the country, because I said to myself, I want to be far, far, far away from all of this. So I didn't know at that time it's like removing myself, removing myself from a toxic situation, toxic environment, so I could start loving myself the way I want to love myself. So, before I used to, yeah.
Sorry. So that boss, did he help you to see that this is not normal?
Yeah. You know, one more thing that I realized, because I was already in my lowest moment. When you're in your lowest moment, you discover your true powerful self as well. Yes. Most of the time I help myself. My friends are there. Yes. I'm thankful for my friends. But there are times that they could understand really the exact feeling or emotions you're going through, where you're the only person who can really help yourself. So that's what I did. I'll help myself. I said to myself, I will help myself. I will do better. I will think better. I will have a wonderful life. That's what I promised myself when I left the country. Okay, so I keep on saying our country, my country.
So when I'm asking the question about your boss, because so many people walk around with this idea of, I can't say anything. Let's not say anything. Let's pretend this is not going on. You know, the pink elephant in the room. We're pretending. There's not a girl walking around here, 21 years old, and she's got a black eye. Let's pretend. Let's not embarrass her. And if we do that, if nobody speaks up and nobody's there for you and nobody becomes the match that lights the fire, if nobody helps you to become aware that there is help, you can do it differently, and that sometimes what you're going through is simply not acceptable. Because sometimes when we're in a situation for a very long time, we don't actually realize that what we're going through is not acceptable. This is not the way. This is not normal. So I'm asking this specific question because all of us can be the light for somebody else. And sometimes it needs us noticing and saying something. And can I help? And can I be there for you? And what do you want of me? Instead of ignoring what's obviously not right.
Yeah. So you know what happened when my boss found out what's been happening to me, and especially seeing that black eye, right? Well, you know, at first she used to be the boss, etc. But when she found out about my experience, she became much kinder. She became because I believe that time she's a devout, not Catholic, I mean, she's a Christian. So she prayed for me every now and then. She became like a mom to me. She calls to check on me, all that stuff. Yeah. So
Wonderful.
That situation actually has changed many lives, not only my life, but other people's lives as well, isn't it? One pain is a teacher, not only to the one who's carrying the pain, but to everyone else. Yeah. Like I said, this is a learning experience. It's a teaching experience for all of us. Yeah.
Okay, so now if you have to talk to somebody, say there's somebody going through the same, what's the first thing you're going to say to that person? what can they do?
At first, the first question would be, are you willing to accept healing? Are you willing to move on? Because some people are having staycation in pain. Pain became their comfort in a way. They want to stay there because I'm okay just having this pain. That became their, what do you call this? Like I said, comfort zone. So they got used to having pain.
Mm-hmm.
But they're forgetting that there's another, or there's a better way of living, not only through pain, but you can also allow yourself to enjoy life. You can also allow yourself to heal. Also, that's the first question. Are you willing to allow yourself to heal? Yeah.
Okay, and so if somebody doesn't know that they are not the cause of this, if somebody believes that they are so fatally flawed, that they are actually causing the abuse, they're doing something wrong, what are you saying to them?
Well, I wouldn't say there's something wrong with you. I wouldn't say that, because I believe that all of us are going through something. It's not not because there's something wrong with us. These are just the events happening, right? These are the events happening. These are teachers for you to realize the goodness in you, not the wrongness in you. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah.
I would always say to my clients, I tell them that, look, please know that you're not a victim, but you are a creator. What do I mean by that? You could create something out of this. Find out the lessons, find out the wisdom, because this incident is specifically working for your benefit. Find out what's the message in this. Ask what is being shown here, what is being told here. Listen, open your heart, open your mind, everything. Allow yourself to heal, allow yourself to get the message and use it for your evolution, use it for your growth.
So you didn't become, you were part of your father's story of hurt that he brought with him, but you didn't allow it to define who you wanted to be for the rest of your life. You created what you wanted, and you left your story and your father's hurt behind you.
That's true. You see, Louis, a lot of people are walking or living in the past. That's already the past. So the past do not define people. The past, I mean, this is another stuff that I say to my clients. The past do not define you, but only refine you. So there's a big difference between defining and refining you, isn't it? So that's actually, yeah. So I hope that will be a wisdom or a lesson to all those who are watching or listening right now. Past do not have to define you. It's just a refinement. It's a moment of shaping you to something better. I mean, not something better, or for you to discover who you truly are, the beauty that's inside you.
Yeah.
Sometimes all this pain and suffering, actually, they are just like a diamond when you, what do you call it? Before it became a diamond, it used to be a charcoal, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
right?
That's it.
That's the process of pain and suffering. Basically, that's what it, the pain, that's what it does for us. Yeah.
So we all have a choice. You're an adult now. Now you have a voice. Now you have a choice. And you at this stage have got the option. I'm going to let my past define me, or I'm going to use the tools that are available to me so that I can decide where I'm going from this moment forward. Right. Okay, so Yeah, that's why I like you. Okay, we're so much on the same page.
That's why I like you too,
Yes.
because you're
Okay.
able to explain it further. You
Yes.
know,
So
there will be clarity to those
yes,
who are watching. Yeah.
yes. Okay, so you're in this situation. You didn't get it from your parents. You've got the fire inside you. You now know you're really a diamond, but to get to that process, what did you use? Did you read things? Did you get help from other people? What did you use to get yourself to a place of peace? Because you're in a place of peace now, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. 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 That's why sometimes it's hard to go back to the past and be in that situation again because you're used to being in the present moment already, right? So right. So first off, it's about the mindset. Mindset is the most important thing. um I To be able to be in the peace, joy, and love states, you really have to allow yourself. Otherwise, because you're the only one who can restrict yourself, limit yourself, or allow yourself to grow. Who else? Nobody can do that for you because this is your life. Your life is your own responsibility, and it is not dependent on someone, teachings or whatever or push. You really have to help yourself. I have I've told that to my clients to please help yourself because no one can do that. No one can breathe the air for you. No one can feed you. No one, just live your life. That's your responsibility.
Yeah.
So peace, meditation helps.
Oh,
Moment of
perfect.
silence, moment of silence, moment of focusing on your breathing. I did a lot of that. And I have exposed myself to positive influences. I dropped off whatever is, all this ecosystem. So what I did was I really, really focused on spirituality, the stuff that I do not know about myself. Because before I only knew myself as, oh, this is physical body, and that's it. I have strongly identified myself just the physical body. But of course, some people would ask, well, who are you, Elsa? You're a physical body, right? You're a human being. Yeah, I know that. But we have identified ourselves with just being physical bodies, but we're more than that. And that's the reason why I keep writing or publishing books to remind people. I had an aha moment a few days ago, Louis. I guess my role here is to remind people who they truly are,
Oh,
and that is they're spiritual beings just going through this human experience. When we talk about spirituality, I'm not just we're not referring to the physical bodies, but we're referring to the beauty inside you. We have this inner world, we have this wisdom, we have this intelligence. We have all of this. We are powerful beings, and people are forgetting that we have depended so much on the outside forces where everything actually is inside of us. So I focus on that in the teachings of the spiritual gurus. I expose myself to the work of many spiritual gurus that we have around the world. And then I focused on what else? Um, I focus more on the lessons and wisdom, not on the hurt, not on the suffering. And then I focus more on the what do you call this? It takes a lot of practice when you do this. It should be a routine now because there has been a lot of programming in us, right?
yes.
Programming. I unlearn and learn. I drop some beliefs that I knew about myself, and then learn a new one. And you should be open to accept, you know, different wisdom from because every book or every teachers would have a different revelation to you. It's not that, let's say, for
Yes.
example, you and I, Louise, we're listening to one person. You will interpret or um, you will interpret. There will be a different message to you. Your realization is different than my realization. So your truth is not my truth, and my truth is not yours, right? So we have to be sensitive who to follow, what to read, where to expose ourselves to, and to get into peace. It's about love. That's all I could say really. It's about love, loving yourself. Start loving yourself. It's not selfish, it's not narcissistic. It's really, I mean, for you to be able to love people, you have to understand how it is to love yourself. I did not get that kind of love from my family. I've experienced tough love. So I became gentle to myself. I became sweet to myself. I had a love affair with myself
I
now,
love it.
So
Love
I
it.
didn't explain. I had a love affair. I had and have a love affair with myself now. I used to think that it's selfish. The word, because words, these are just empty um, alphabets that we have formed together. It depends on us and how we're going to interpret such words, isn't it? But the thing is, we have the dictionary and we have placed a specific meaning for each word, but it could be something else, right? So I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So because people are so sensitive about words as well, whereas they take words as their teachers, but actually you have that wisdom in you. Listen to yourself more. What do I mean by listening to myself more? Some would ask, right? It's really about pausing and being still and being one and being in the present moment and being because there's no demand in the present moment. But some would ask, Elsa, hey, I have a deadline to meet. And then I would say, you can leave it. Nobody would die if you don't meet the deadline. I mean, the earth would not, what do you call it? What's the right word?
Explode.
Uh, explode. I'm from the word explode. But also, I have a deadline to meet, etc. I have a deadline as well. But then, I, because the more relaxed you have to put yourself in a much chill, or the
Kind.
word is chillax.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind.
you have to relax. Yeah, being kind to yourself, being kind to your mind, being kind to your thoughts, because you are the master observer of your thoughts. You are the one who's in control. You can just watch the negative thoughts pass by, and if you wanted to create something out of it, as you focus on it, then create something better for you. Not because we have been used to um, entertaining negative thoughts, that it manifested negativity in the physical. So if we are able to do that, it means to say that we are also able to meditate on, or dwelling, or focus on good feeling thoughts. That's it, right?
Yes.
So
Focus
yeah.
on what you want to create.
Okay, we hear a lot of positivity, or focus on being positive, etc. But please know that to be able to focus on positivity, you have to go through negativity first before getting on that, because we live in a physical world of contrast, when there's black and white, where there's peace and chaos. You have to understand that that's how it is now.
Mm.
Not now, I mean, even before. I mean, it's how it is in this physical world. It's the opposite. We go through the world of polarity, world of relativity, that has to be understood by a lot.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other, but it is all about the resilience that you foster inside yourself. And you
Yeah,
get to it through the most important thing that I think, I mean, you've said a lot of important things. You said, get ready to change. And you said, get support, surround yourself with people and books and experiences that are going to uplift you. Meditate. Um, I don't have all of them, but I think the most
there's one
important
more.
is
There's one more. Sorry,
Mhm.
you have don't suppress your emotions. You have to
Oh, that's big.
don't suppress your emotions, because that's really hard when you suppress it, because it will it will manifest somewhere else. It
It
will
will,
manifest in your,
yeah.
yeah. It will affect your health. It has affected my health too before. Remember the near death experience? When you have read my book,
Yes.
near death experience. I was sharing um, You really have to deal with their emotions and do not suppress them, repress them, or escape or simply ignore them. You just have to deal with them. Emotions and thoughts, they are energies, they are movements, they come and go. So you, as the observer, you can just let them go. You can, not in a sense, when I say let them go, not ignore them, recognize that they're there, acknowledge, admit you're hurting, you're feeling down or whatsoever. And then it's not forever. It actually goes.
So you experience them because the feeling is not going to kill you. But what is going to kill you is the fear of expressing it. So once you lose the fear, you can just express it. And I would say, check your hands. Your hands are not going to fall off. You're still going to have 5 fingers on the one hand, 5 fingers on the other hand, and just because you've expressed a feeling. Okay, so we're getting to our last questions. I don't want to stop talking to you. It's just fascinating, and we share so many belief systems, and I also had to walk a very long road to get to peace. So I want to say to people, peace is attainable, peace is possible, and if you want a tiny little bit of peace and a lot of inspiration in your book, what you want to do is you want to pick up one of Elsa's books. Do you have any of them nearby? Can you show us some covers?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have.
You know,
Here,
the last one.
Yeah,
the last one is my favorite. Make sure you show that one too, okay?
This is the last one. This is your favorite. It's called Redesign Your Life.
Love that book.
Yes. Oh, thank you. So this is basically reminding all of the people that we are powerful beings. We are not victims, but creators. And you have that tool. I've shown some tools in how you can create a much better life, a life that you prefer. And it's called, I've also mentioned in here the non-physical guides that we have. You know, everything that we need is actually inside of us.
Yes.
So this is the book. Yeah, this is the book that you.
And that one's very practical. If you can just open it up, because like every chapter, there's like action steps and.
Yes, at the end of each chapter, actually, I have put some questions in there, so people can reflect and write down their thoughts, their emotions, if they're going through something. So this is the book. That's the latest book that I have. It's available in Amazon. It's you can actually listen to it too. It's an Audible version. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure the link.
You read everything.
Yeah, your link is in the description.
I'm sorry, what's that?
The link to Amazon is in the description.
Yeah, I have actually put in the.
Yeah, it's in there. Okay. I've got one heck of a storm happening over my head right now. I don't know if you can hear it. So I hope it's going to be even long enough for us to be able to at least say goodnight. Also, I love talking to you. You really did bring a piece of calm and peace into the recording studio here. Thank you for doing that. Let's keep on talking. And thank you to everyone who's watched so far. Use this, be somebody else's person. And if you are struggling, remember what you've heard today. There is a way, and don't give up your hope. There is a way, and we can all get to this place of perfect peace and having resilience. Okay, so the next session is coming up soon, and stay with us. There's more inspiration coming. Thank you for everybody who's been with us so far. Thank you so much, Elsa.
Thank you too. Thank you very much.
Appreciation. Thank you.